When a woman is hiding an affair, her words often betray her before anything else. Psychological research shows that people involved in secret relationships unintentionally expose themselves in conversations more than 60% of the time. Small slips, repeated phrases, or sudden topic changes aren't accidents, they are the mind's way of leaking the truth. Think about it: someone mentions meeting an old friend too many times, or casually says, "I was busy that night," without prompting. These phrases may feel normal, but they are often subconscious signals, clues that something is being hidden. Stress, guilt, and the need to justify behavior make the brain hyperalert, and those hidden truths spill out without conscious effort. Even the tiniest detail can be a window into a secret affair. By paying attention to subtle language patterns, inconsistencies, and defensive phrasing, you can start to see what most people completely miss. Conversations that seemed ordinary are actually revealing, like a puzzle that only the attentive can solve. What you're about to discover will change the way you listen, notice, and interpret the words of someone hiding more than they are saying. Are you ready to uncover the hidden truths that lie between the words? If you're fascinated by human behavior, hit like and subscribe for more dark psychology insights that reveal hidden truths. The psychology of accidental confessions. Have you ever wondered why people spill secrets even when they desperately try to hide them? It's not magic, and it's not coincidence, it's human psychology at work. When someone is involved in a secret relationship, their brain is constantly juggling two conflicting realities: the life they are living openly, and the life they are keeping hidden. This mental tension creates stress, guilt, and cognitive overload. And stress, as psychologists have found, makes people more prone to slip up in conversation. Think about it: if you were hiding something important, wouldn't you be hyper-aware of every word you say? Ironically, that hyper-awareness often backfires. The more someone tries to control their narrative, the more their brain leaks tiny clues. Defensive phrases like, "I was just with friends," or unnecessary details about minor events are often attempts to appear innocent. The mind unconsciously overcompensates, and in doing so, exposes hidden truths. Psychologists call this phenomenon cognitive leakage. It occurs when the mental load of keeping a secret exceeds the brain's processing capacity. Secrets are heavy. They occupy attention, create anxiety, and even influence memory. This is why a person might misstate times, dates, or places without realizing it. These slips are not random, they are subtle cracks in the wall of deception. Another factor is emotional conflict. A secret relationship often comes with guilt, fear of being discovered, or attachment to someone else. Emotions interfere with logic. When someone experiences stress or excitement, their verbal control diminishes. That casual phrase about meeting someone for coffee or running errands late might seem normal to an outsider, but it's a psychological breadcrumb revealing a hidden affair. Even tone plays a role. People unconsciously change pitch, speed, or volume when they are hiding something. Stressful topics, even if they are minor, can trigger subtle changes. You might notice a brief pause, a sudden laugh, or overly specific explanations. These micro-behaviors are the brain's way of coping with conflicting emotions and information. So, why do these accidental confessions matter? Because they reveal patterns. Once you start paying attention, you can distinguish between normal conversation quirks and genuine indicators of a hidden relationship. You begin to see the signs in context: verbal overcompensation, defensive phrasing, and emotional leakage. By understanding this psychology, you gain insight into how human communication works under pressure. Accidental confessions are not about catching someone out, they are about recognizing the subtle ways our minds betray secrets. And in the next chapter, we'll break down the exact verbal patterns that make these slips noticeable, even when someone tries to be perfect. Verbal patterns that give them away. Have you ever noticed how certain phrases make your instincts tingle, even when the person seems calm? That's no coincidence. Words carry more than meaning, they carry hidden emotions, stress, and unconscious signals. When someone is involved in an affair, their speech often shifts in subtle, almost invisible ways. These patterns are like fingerprints of a secret life, slipping through even the most careful mask. One of the most common verbal giveaways is over-explaining. Instead of giving a simple answer like, "I went out," they might say, "I went out with some friends to grab coffee, and then we walked around the park because it was sunny, and later I went home." Why all the extra details? Their brain is trying to fill gaps preemptively, hoping that a detailed story will prevent suspicion. But ironically, the more detailed, the more suspicious it appears. Cognitive psychologists have found that over-explaining is a classic sign of someone managing stress while hiding something. Another giveaway is unnecessary denial. Phrases like, "I swear, I didn't do anything," or, "you're imagining things," can indicate guilt. These defensive statements are triggered by anxiety. The brain unconsciously attempts to reassure both itself and the listener, yet the underlying emotion, the fear of being discovered, leaks through tone, hesitation, or micro-expressions. Inconsistent language is another indicator. A person might refer to someone by first name in one sentence, then switch to vague descriptors like "a friend" or "someone I met" in the next. Or they may misstate times, locations, or minor details. These inconsistencies aren't always intentional, they are the brain's way of juggling multiple realities. Maintaining a perfect story is cognitively exhausting, and mistakes naturally emerge. Rhetorical distancing is another subtle trick. They may use phrases that create distance between themselves and the topic, such as, "It's not a big deal," or "I don't know why that matters." This is an attempt to reduce guilt and internal conflict, but it also signals avoidance. Avoidance, in psychology, is a strong indicator that someone is hiding something emotionally significant. Even casual, everyday conversation can reveal hidden truths. Mentioning random meetings, unexplained errands, or sudden changes in schedule may seem ordinary, but combined with the other verbal patterns, they form a clear pattern of deception. This is why experts in behavioral psychology often advise paying attention not just to what is said, but how it is said. By learning these patterns, you begin to notice subtle signs before they escalate into larger revelations. The brain cannot fully control its verbal leakage under stress, and these tiny slips act as breadcrumbs for anyone observing carefully. In the next chapter, we'll explore the emotional triggers that cause these slips, revealing why certain moments make people accidentally confess more than others. Emotional triggers that make them slip. Have you ever noticed how the tiniest things can make someone reveal more than they intend? A single question, a seemingly casual comment, or even a moment of fatigue can crack the armor of secrecy. In psychology, we call these emotional triggers, stimuli that force the brain to leak information unconsciously. When someone is hiding an affair, these triggers are like hidden tripwires. Stress is one of the most powerful triggers. If she's juggling multiple relationships, the mental load is immense. The brain struggles to maintain two realities at once, and this cognitive strain shows up in conversation. For example, asking a simple question like, "Where were you yesterday?" can lead to hesitation, stammering, or over-detailing. These are not random behaviors, they are stress signals, the brain's way of signaling conflict between truth and deception. Guilt also acts as a potent emotional trigger. Deep down, most people know when they are betraying trust, and that internal conflict seeks release. Phrases like, "I don't want you to worry," or "it's not what it looks like," often appear when the brain is attempting to soothe guilt. Interestingly, research in social psychology shows that people are more likely to spill secrets when they feel a subtle mix of guilt and fear of being caught. Their words, tone, and pauses betray their inner turmoil, even if they seem casual. Another common trigger is comparative conversation. Bringing up past experiences, mutual friends, or previous behaviors can make her unconsciously align her words with the lie she's trying to maintain. Inconsistencies or accidental admissions often emerge during these moments. For example, she might say, "I don't usually go out this late," implying that yesterday was unusual, without realizing it hints at something secret. Emotional fatigue also plays a huge role. Humans have limited cognitive energy, and maintaining a facade drains it fast. At the end of a long day, subtle slips are more likely, an innocent comment about a friend or a vague reference to last weekend might reveal more than intended. Behavioral studies show that people under mental fatigue are significantly less able to filter their speech, which is why many affairs are exposed during casual, low-pressure conversations. Finally, curiosity can trigger slips. If someone probes gently, showing empathy but also interest, she may reveal more than she realizes. It's the combination of perceived safety and the internal push of guilt or stress that makes certain questions irresistible to answer fully, even unconsciously. By understanding these triggers, you can see how small moments in everyday conversation become windows into hidden realities. In the next chapter, we'll dive into nonverbal cues, the silent, subconscious ways she reveals the truth even when her words try to hide it. Nonverbal cues that reveal her secrets. Words can lie, but the body rarely does. Nonverbal cues, subtle gestures, micro-expressions, and posture shifts often reveal more than speech ever could. When a woman is hiding an affair, these silent signals can unconsciously betray her. Humans are wired to pick up inconsistencies between verbal statements and body language, and the brain reacts strongly when detecting them. One of the most common indicators is eye behavior. Avoiding direct eye contact, rapid blinking, or looking down when discussing certain topics can signal discomfort or guilt. Research in behavioral psychology shows that people lying or concealing information often struggle to maintain consistent eye contact, especially if the topic touches on sensitive issues. Conversely, overcompensating with too much eye contact, staring or forcing engagement, can also be a defensive mechanism, attempting to appear honest while masking anxiety. Facial micro-expressions are another critical clue. These are tiny, fleeting expressions that last only a fraction of a second but can betray true emotions. A quick frown, a suppressed smile, or a subtle lip bite when mentioning certain people or events can indicate hidden feelings, stress, or deception. Even if she verbally denies anything, these micro-expressions leak the truth. Posture and gestures reveal a lot too. Crossed arms, leaning away, or fidgeting often signal discomfort or defensiveness. In contrast, sudden changes in posture, sitting upright abruptly, shifting hands, or playing with objects, can indicate internal conflict. Psychological studies show that people subconsciously adjust their body to reduce guilt or anxiety, especially when hiding a secret. Another subtle but powerful cue is tone of voice. Inconsistencies in pitch, tempo, or volume often emerge when someone is masking the truth. A voice that wavers, rises unexpectedly, or speaks slightly faster during certain topics reflects the brain's cognitive load and emotional stress. Even if she maintains smooth conversation superficially, these auditory cues provide strong hints of concealed activity. Finally, touch and physical proximity can be revealing. People who are hiding something may unconsciously create distance or use barriers, like turning their body away, placing objects between themselves and others, or avoiding touch. These actions are instinctive safety mechanisms triggered by guilt or fear of exposure. By observing these nonverbal cues in combination with verbal patterns, the picture becomes clearer. Even casual, everyday interactions can expose inconsistencies that point to hidden behavior. Understanding these silent signals transforms ordinary conversations into powerful tools for psychological insight. Patterns of speech that give her away. Even the most careful liar leaves traces in their speech. When a woman is secretly involved with someone else, certain verbal patterns emerge that are almost impossible to suppress entirely. These patterns are often subtle, slips of words, over-explaining, or repeating phrases, but they reveal her internal conflict and hidden reality. One common pattern is unnecessary detail. When asked about her day or plans, she may provide more information than needed, describing events in exacting detail. Psychologists call this overcompensation, where the brain tries to appear transparent while hiding uncomfortable truths. The strange thing is, the more she tries to convince you of honesty, the more these details draw attention to inconsistencies. Another giveaway is inconsistency in storylines. A woman juggling a secret may inadvertently contradict herself. She might say one thing about her schedule or emotions one day, and something slightly different the next. These contradictions are rarely intentional, they are a product of cognitive strain. The brain struggles to maintain multiple narratives simultaneously, and small discrepancies leak out, often unnoticed by the speaker. Deflecting or redirecting conversations is also common. Instead of answering a question directly, she may change the subject, joke, or ask you a question in return. This tactic is designed to regain control of the interaction and avoid scrutiny. While subtle, over time, these diversions form a recognizable pattern of avoidance that can alert a keen observer. Listen carefully to slips of language, too. Accidental mentions of names, places, or times that seem out of context can reveal a hidden affair. For instance, she might say, "I was with a friend at that cafe," but later reveal details that don't align with your knowledge. These verbal slips are unconscious and almost impossible to prevent when someone is under cognitive and emotional stress. Finally, emotional tone in speech is a strong indicator. A slight hesitation, change in pitch, or sudden shift in enthusiasm can hint at internal conflict. Psychological studies show that when someone speaks about sensitive topics, their vocal patterns often betray anxiety, guilt, or excitement, all clues that words alone might try to hide. When combined, over-detailing, contradictions, deflections, slips, and tonal shifts, these speech patterns form a revealing map of hidden behavior. Even if she believes she is careful, her subconscious signals betray her. Understanding these verbal cues allows you to observe patterns without confrontation, giving insight into what is often concealed behind polite conversation. Pay attention, reflect, and observe over time. Human behavior is rarely perfect, and even the most skilled deceivers leave traces that can be understood with psychological awareness. Conversations are more than words, they are windows into the mind.